I'm Colin Kay, Associate Professor of Translational Nutrition at the Plants for Human Health Institute.
Hi, I'm Rupi Young. I have a physics degree and I'm a stay-at-home mom, also working on grad school. So can you tell me a little bit about your study and what question you were actually trying to answer?
Yes, so we were studying blueberries, and particularly compounds in blueberries called anthocyanins, which are a phytochemical that gives them their blue and purple color. And we were interested in exploring what is the impact of processing blueberries on the ability of the body to process those phytochemicals within the berry. So it's often referred to as bioavailability, which simply means available to the body. So we wanted to see if we feed people blueberries versus a product made from blueberries, do those compounds get into the body in the same way? We know those compounds are associated with beneficial health effects, things like reducing risk of cardiovascular disease or type 2 diabetes. So the goal was really to be able to show that if you consume something as a processed product, you can get the same benefits as you would as a product like a whole fresh blueberry.
So how did you assess this bioavailability? And is there like an actual blood test for blueberries?
Okay, so the first question, how do we assess the bioavailability? We had to conduct a human nutrition intervention trial. So basically what that is we recruit people from the surrounding area. These are all volunteers. And then we basically have to come up with some criteria so they're kind of a homogeneous subset of people. So basically we set an age limit, and then we're also recruiting people that are apparently healthy and free from diseases which would affect our measurements into the bioavailability of these compounds. So once we have those people recruited into the trial, we basically feed them 4 different meals because we're trying to assess the difference between 2 different blueberry varieties and a processed product and a control beverage. So basically they would come in a randomized order. They would consume the first meal, which would be, say, one of the blueberry varieties. We would take blood and urine from them, and over 48 hours we would measure the components that we're looking for in the berry, but in their blood or urine. Then they would go home and they would live their normal lifestyle for a couple of weeks, and they would come back and take one of the other meals, so either a different blueberry variety or a blueberry that is made into a protein bar. So this represents our processed product, but it would contain the same blueberry and the same amount. So we're comparing like to like. Or the 4th food that we would give them, we call a control. So basically the control is a protein shake which matches the other meals in every sense other than it doesn't have these blueberry phytochemicals that we're interested in measuring. So then the people would participate in the trial, we would collect their blood and urine. Once we have that, we would compare the amounts found in the berry to the amount we find in the body. The second part of the question is there a test for this? So there's not really a test like you go to the doctors and say, I want to do the same thing myself. Although they use similar techniques, it's just not really something the medical profession is currently testing for. But basically what we do is we use similar techniques to what would be used in forensics to measure things in the blood. So we take the blood and urine samples, we compare what was fed, so the amount of these compounds in the berries or in the processed bar, we compare that to the amount that we recover in the blood and the urine, and that's kind of a measure of this bioavailability or availability to the body. So if there's X amount in the berry and Y amount in the blood, the difference tells us something about what was absorbed and what was not absorbed, basically.
So what might be the next step for this area of research?
Yeah, so the next step, basically the concept of this research was that people often have a negative idea about processed foods. So they think that they want to increase their fruit and vegetable consumption, but it's difficult because they might not have access, or there's issues with the storage of fresh fruits, or it might be too costly for them. So they think that there's nothing they can do about that. But actually, processed food can provide more nutritive value in a lot of instances. So when you freeze some fruits and vegetables, you actually get an increase of certain beneficial phytochemicals in them. Or if you cook them, you make certain components more available to the body.
Wow.
So it's not, we want people to think that they just need to get more fruits and vegetables into the diet, and the form probably doesn't matter. And that's what we're trying to prove in this study. So we're involved in a number of other studies. The goal is that we repeat this type of thing with other fruits and vegetables, so people have some idea that if they want to get from 3 fruits and vegetables a day to 10 servings, then it's possible. They don't necessarily have to carry around a giant bag of fresh fruits and vegetables with them every day. So we're working with other researchers on things like mango, almonds, different berries. We've looked at the past at soy and orange. So basically, a lot of these studies would have different research questions, but they're all trying to get at the same thing, and that is, how does our body process these beneficial components, and is there any negative or positive impacts of processing?